Hollywood Critics Association Longbox, where we connect the comic books to your favorite TV shows and movies. Yes. You guys, this is like perfect right here. We told you already, this is now the Hawkeye show. It will be the Hawkeye show for the next 3 weeks after this. I can't believe we're already halfway through the Hawkeye show. It makes me very sad. Episode 3 dropped this morning. Joe and I are so excited to dive into it. She's also been reading the comics, so we're excited to get into it all. But before we do, quick introduction. My name is Tessa Smith. You guys can find me everywhere at Mama's Geeky, mamasgeeky.com, Mama's Geeky here on YouTube, where I watch the show live along with you guys for the very first time at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Then I take an hour to dive through the comics, and then I come on here, and so we can break it down and talk about it. My Wednesdays are Hawkeye days now, and I'm not complaining. Mama's Geeky everywhere on social. And then I'm here with my lovely co-host.
I'm Jonita Davis. You can find me at Jonita L. Davis everywhere. And you can find my work at blackcape.com. I've been I don't know if you can see it, but Comixology. I love them because, if you're in a pinch like I am budget-wise because of Christmas and everything else in life. Yeah. If you get their unlimited plan, this is free.
Yeah, because it's old enough, right? So
I've been reading that whole book for free.
It's so good.
It's amazing. So
and then I'm the sucker who bought it for $44.99. But
no. I want to get a copy. I want to get a copy so bad.
Well, here's the thing:
holidays.
It's expensive. Again, it's the holidays. Well, I have all the individual comics from when it was coming out, and I was getting it every month or whatever. And when I wanted to read it again, I was like, I'm just getting the trade paperback. It's so much easier because trying to dig through however many comics is crazy.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to touch
I can tell you it's Hawkeye. 22 comics plus an annual, so 23 comics. No, this is much easier. Easier.
It is. I'm not allowed to touch the individual Hawkeyes. I've got collectors in the house.
Well, exactly. At this point, they're collectibles even more so.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to. Don't pull them out of their bags and boards. Don't do it.
No, don't do that. As a matter of fact, if you really need some cash for Christmas, now's the time to sell.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, there are a couple of them that are going for a couple $100.
That's
not
crazy,
even
really?
kidding. Not even kidding.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I want to keep them. Hawkeye's my guy.
Yeah,
but I'm thinking about it first. I'm like, oh, really?
But I'm just saying, if you are in a pinch, go check out the collector's market. You may be able to unload a copy or two and it may help you out a little bit. But, otherwise go online, digital. You can't, just reading this comic.
Oh, it's so good.
He and Kate, they nailed the relationship. So
yes,
can I just say that?
They do such a good job. Well, the problem is the Clint in the MCU is not the Clint that we get in the comics, right? Clint in the comics is divorced and depressed and kind of a drunk, and that's not what we get on screen. But they did such a good job of tying the MCU Clint into this storyline and his relationship with Kate. I think they nailed it, like you said. And it's hard when you take someone who you've put as a different character, basically, right? In the MCU, and you're changing him to fit in that relationship, and it works. I will tell you though, this episode, the first thing we have to talk about, Joe, is this person coming in. Can you see who that is? It's Kingpin.
Yeah.
He's got to be coming in, right? Like, did you hear that laugh? That's Vincent D'Onofrio all day, every day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I listened to it like this, so squeezing my headphones in my ears, so it was all I could hear over and over. And I was like, that's him. That's totally him. And he has a relationship with Echo in the comics. He's part of the Matt Fraction run. If we don't get Kingpin, plus Vincent, did you see he was tweeting about Hawkeye? He's trolling us on Twitter.
So cool.
He's like, I'm really looking forward to this show. Why? Because you're in it.
Next time he does that, you should be like, well, you should come on the Longbox and talk to us about it.
I should. Come talk to us about this show. If you love it, join us. Have a conversation. Let's break this thing down.
Yeah. Why is that laugh there? Why are you laughing on tape during the episode, huh?
Squeeze it, patting her. The uncle's going to take you home. Okay. Now, he's not her uncle in the comics, but he's got that relationship with her where he gets in her ear, right? We were talking about this last week, how he kind of pushes her towards, he actually gets her to, she's in love with Daredevil. She doesn't know it's Daredevil. She's in love with Matt Murdock, and he gets her to like fight Daredevil. And that's the whole thing, which I feel like we could potentially see an Echo. So I think we'll go down that road later. But that's her connection with Kingpin, right? Where he's in her ear. He messes with her a little bit, and he pushes her towards the dark side. Now, I think in this one, we're seeing that her father is part of the Tracksuit Mafia and was murdered by Ronin. So, of course, that's kind of where that side of her is coming from. But Kingpin is still quite an influence. And they even said, Echo is not the top of the chain here. Someone else is above her.
Definitely.
And it's got to be Kingpin.
It's got to be Kingpin. So, wait. Roll back. You said she's in love with Daredevil.
Yeah, like that's a whole thing. Well, with Matt, not Daredevil.
With Matt. So does that mean we're going to get a crossover, maybe?
I would love that. So there's all these rumors that Charlie Cox is coming back in No Way Home, which it makes sense because Spider-Man looks for a lawyer and he goes to Matt Murdock. And so many people love Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. I did. I loved that Daredevil show.
He's great.
He's so good. That and Jessica Jones are my favorite of the Netflix Marvel shows. And I hope they bring them back. And Kevin Feige has even said never say never. And I do think we're going to see Charlie Cox in No Way Home. I think that's almost a guarantee. There's rumors that it's true, leaks that it's true, whatever. We don't actually know. I will never set my heart on something that isn't officially confirmed because you don't want to get crushed like Mephisto in WandaVision. Like I'm not going down that road again. But I think we'll see him in No Way Home, which makes me think I don't think we'll see him in Hawkeye. But I do think we'll end up seeing him in Echo. And I think we'll see more of Kingpin in Echo. So I feel like we're going to get like maybe this much Kingpin. Like we already got the laugh. We'll get a shot of his face. We'll know it's him at some point. And then the meat and bones of his relationship with Echo is going to be in the Echo series, I think. I know. Which means, because think about it, we only have 3 episodes left. We haven't even seen Yelena yet.
This is my pouty face.
I know.
Just pieces.
I know.
Pieces. And then if you get, because you get Matt Murdock, you get Jessica Jones, then you get hopefully you get the Jessica Jones Luke Cage relationship and the baby, and then
Squirrel Girl, who's their nanny.
Squirrel Girl,
please?
yes. Do you guys see the stuff, the goodness we can get if they just bring it?
There's a lot. There's a
lot. Anyway,
and I think we will eventually get there. They're doing all these shows now, and the problem is, it's so weird because in my head I'm like, yay, we get 6 whole episodes to explore Clint and Kate. I love them so much. I'm so excited. But then I'm like, well, it's only 6 episodes. Like we're already halfway done. It feels like it's not enough at the same time.
Oh, we are only halfway done.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Because the 2 came out in 1 week. So we really only have 3 weeks left. We have 3 episodes left. That's it.
Darn Disney for giving us 2 at a time. I know we asked for it, but still.
I know.
You don't have to give us everything we asked for,
Right, exactly. It's sad.
Number 1 rule of child rearing.
I know. It's sad. So I'm sad about that. But I loved this episode. I was trying to find, I had marked the page and now I can't find it. But how did you feel about, have you gotten to the part with there's a car chase that's very, very, very similar in the comics?
No, that's next for me.
Okay.
That's next. That's the next chapter for me. I was just looking ahead just a little bit and I saw and I'm like, oh my God, that's the car chase.
It's so great. Like, I love that they did that. I thought that scene with all the arrows, it was so good. And again, it puts their relationship when she's like, wait, there's 4 arrows that are more dangerous than this one. And then just like blew up everywhere. Yeah. I loved that. The Pym arrow, I freaked out. I thought that was so cool. Just making the other arrow giant. She's like, this is a normal arrow. What am I going to do? And that whole dynamic, I love him Echo taking out his earbud. What is it called? Why can't hearing aid is the word. I'm like earbud, but it's a hearing aid. And forcing him to be in that world of, he says, I'm hard of hearing, I'm not deaf, but forcing him to be in that world. And the way they put us in that world with him and also with Echo, the way they muffle all the sounds, they make it almost silent. That's so smart. I just really love how they do that. And I think it really puts you in that box, right? You feel like you're with them. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like you feel like you're in that moment with them.
Yeah. I ever since I saw the movie Sound of Metal, every time they have a deaf person and then they do it also in Coda. These movies they just muffle the sound or they cut it off completely, and you're hearing the same thing that the person whose perspective you're going through. So you're actually in the same, like you said, the same world they are in. And so I appreciate that, because to me, you're getting it more authentic, and you're making it to where you're forcing us to actually feel the perspective of the person we're getting into. We're actually getting that perspective. So I really appreciate that. One of the things we're talking about, the worlds that they go into, one of the things that I appreciated was the talk that she had in the beginning with her dad, I think it was.
Yeah.
Where he talked about how you have to walk two worlds. That's bringing in this idea of double consciousness, I think, that Black characters and Black people and people of color often have to do, where you're walking in your own culture and your own community, and you have those customs and those things you do, and then there's like a code switch, where you have to switch your language, sometimes your mannerisms, sometimes your behaviors to fit into the society that's outside of that culture and community as well. And so they're applying that to the deaf community, which is very accurate, where the deaf community has its own customs and traditions and language, and so but when she's not in that community, though, she can't rely on that same things, because in the outside of the deaf community, most people don't know sign language. I mean, Clint does not know sign language.
Right. He was like, cookie. What did he said like cookie?
He said something about a cookie, and that's it. And she's like, oh my God.
Well, she said he's relying too much on the technology, right? Like, how have you not learned more words than?
And that's because she's like used to that double consciousness, being conscious of being deaf and in the deaf world, and being, hearing and in the hearing world at the same time. And so Clint hasn't got that yet. Clint is in the hearing world, but he's deaf, and he does know nothing about the deaf community. And so they bringing that idea out, I think, was amazing.
I love it too. And look, Leo's here, and listen, she's amazing. And this is like the first thing she's done, which blows my mind, by the way. I'm so excited for her Echo show. It just listen. Right, exactly. Wilson Fisk, we were talking about that earlier. It's got to be him. I mean, that laugh is like undeniable. But I loved her. I love that, again, right? Reminiscent of the first episode, they give you that opening moments. They allow you to learn who Echo is, right? Learn about her backstory, learn a little bit more, just like they did with Kate at the first episode. And I love that Marvel is doing that. They're saying, okay, listen, here's this little bit you need to know about this person, and they're making it kind of like her. Like, she's obviously going to be a bad girl, but you're like, I kind of feel where she's coming from, right? The teacher wasn't even like helping her. She's stuck in this school. It's not for deaf kids. And she's like, go to Paige. But then she didn't even know, because the teacher turns away, and she doesn't know where she is. And the teacher's coming over, and, I really like that you get to see that. She got to see her dad die, which, by the way, the handprint, that's ripped right from the comics, the handprint on her face, which was so awesome. I was so glad they did the bloody handprint on her face. I thought that was fantastic. Just little stuff like that you're just like, man, they are comic book fans, like the people who are writing these are comic book fans, and it just makes me happy. They
finally got let the comic book fans take over the shows. Finally. It finally happened. Yes.
I think it's going to be the same Kingpin, more or less. I really do. I think
with Vincent.
Because I think they're going to tie it in, they're going to make it all tie in. And I think the same thing's going to happen with the Matt Murdock that we get as well. I mean, you can easily make it someone else now that they're like, we have a multiverse. It could be a different version, a variant. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Especially since I think Matt's going to heavily tie in. And you kind of already need them. Us fans can't just like wipe out seasons and be like, oh, we're starting fresh with these new Kingpin and new Daredevil. That would be very difficult.
Right. And that's such a cop out. I think if they went that the multiverse and we had to do this, that you would lose fans. Your fans would be all over all over the place like us DC fans are with them trying to do that over there.
Yes.
With the whole, okay, so we're gonna omit this entire movie.
Here. Right. Just ignore this.
Ignore that. And we're going here. And it's like, what?
Right. What are you doing?
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they almost have to pick up the same. If you're going to keep your audience, and you're going to keep your stories, you're going to keep the continuity. You have to pick up the same. And then with Vincent tweeting as he is, it's going to happen.
And it's him. You listen to it. It's 100% Vincent.
It's him.
Like I listened to it. Like I said, after I watched the episode, I sat like this and watched that 10 second, like it hit the back 10 seconds, like, I don't know, at least 10, 15 times. And I'm like, no, it's totally him. Like, that has to be him. It's him. Oh man. But I'm just excited for it. But that fight scene, even like leading into the car chase, the fight scene at KB Toys, I was like, I remember KB Toys. Like I used to go to KB. I don't remember a giant ball pit at KB Toys. I wish my KB Toys had a giant ball pit.
Mine didn't have a giant ball pit, but I remember just going there, like not buying anything, just playing with all the stuff.
Yeah. I thought it was so fun for them to have a fight scene there because they can pull out the most random stuff. Like they're literally jumping on a trampoline through a window, like into a back office or whatever. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing. They're utilizing this so well. And then to go out and for him the Charger was cracking me up when he's like, or the Challenger, when he's like, no, I'm not going to take him. And then it still gets destroyed. He was like, oh, it's like a little sad about it. Or how he's like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And then after he gets it fixed, they're eating lunch or whatever. And he still has his hearing aid out so he doesn't have to listen to her. And she's like, was it still out? And he's like, huh, what? It's like, Clint. But I will tell you, there's a part that made me cry. I bet you can guess what it is. But the conversation on the phone with his son really got me. And the fact that Kate's helping him, writing down all the words and holding him up. And his son's like, it's okay. You don't have to come home for Christmas. We understand. I was like, oh, my heart. Like,
yeah, but they got to tighten that tension, though, that 6-day timeline. They have to throw that in there. Every once in a while, they have to stick us with the and just tighten that tension rod up. Yeah. So that we're not, it's like, okay, remember, we're on the tightrope. We're on the tightrope.
Well, exactly. Like you're missing the movie marathon now, right? Like we said, they're going to mention all those things. And he's like, okay, I'm missing the movies, but like, I'll be there for the ugly sweaters. And it's like, I don't think you are, Clint. Like, it's sad.
You're gonna like barely get there for anything, dude. I'm sorry.
And what I loved about that scene too is that they did the same thing with the muffled sound. Like you couldn't hear what he was saying. You had to rely on, unless you have subtitles on, you have to rely on Kate writing down what the kid is saying for you to fully understand too. So you're in it with Clint, like how he was like, there might be a delay, this really bad connection, which he's just saying because he's not wearing his hearing aid.
Right.
And for him to be like not knowing what he's saying next. Yeah, that whole scene was just, anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like somebody was like, if somebody goes, well, he could just tell him. No, he can't, because then you have to tell him why and what he's doing. And
it's a little kid. It's the little kid too. Like it's not his older kids. Parents understand. That would open up a whole bunch of questions and a whole bunch of doors that how do you, it's not the time, right? When you're not home and you don't know when you're coming home. Not the time.
It's not the time.
So all right. I thought the same thing. I will tell you though, I immediately focused on the Subaru and I was like, oh, how much money did Subaru pay to have Subaru written right there? And then I noticed the little girl. I think Riri is probably too young at this point. Plus, they did already say she's making her debut later on, not in here. She's going to make her debut in Black Panther 2 before her own show. That was confirmed by Marvel, by Kevin Feige. So I don't think that would have been her because they've confirmed that where she's starting. Could be Moon Girl. I definitely got that vibe from her. She looked like her, the hair. She was very similar look to her. And I love Moon Girl. And then we are getting her, but is it going to be an animated? I think it's going to be an animated show. I don't know. I'm actually looking this up.
They could have the live action of her.
They could have her as well. But you're right, though. It did seem a little significant, like it was she was put front and center for a reason.
I totally missed it. I'm like,
oh really?
Totally missed the girl in like
It was
thinking
during
she was
the
girl.
It was during the car chase, and she was like looking out the back window, and there was like a thing, but all I saw was Subaru across the back of the thing.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is an animated show. It is an animated show coming in February of 2022. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm excited for it because I love Riri. I mean, I do love Riri, but I love Moon Girl also. Riri, I'm excited for. I'm excited for her to debut in Black Panther, but because they've said that, I think not only is she too young, I think she's definitely, that wasn't her. Yeah, like seeing Hawkeye, seeing Dad Clint, Leo, like that was my thing. Like this conversation, this is Dad Clint, and this is him. Like you're seeing the repercussions, and like that's what he tells her too, right? You have to make sacrifices. Like this comes with negative things, right? Being an Avenger, being a superhero, there's things you miss out on, and there's things you lose. And I did like how she's like, but you gain a cool costume and trick arrows. So I'm like, Kate, like it's so perfectly Kate. Like
Kate is never going to see the reality of anything. She's never going to. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen.
No. And I love when she drew out that costume. I was like, you could wear this, which is a comic book costume that was awful. And I did kind of like how he said my wife would divorce me because in the comics he's divorced. So I thought that was kind of interesting too.
Back.
Because he's right. It was like a little, I mean, I don't think that, I don't think you'll ever end up divorced, but.
Nah. Linda
Cardellini
little... is tough. She'll stick with him.
Even if he wears that horrible purple outfit.
But she's the one that basically keeps him together though, Clint. But his depression from not being with his family and from losing Nat, I think it makes him to where he's more like the comics.
Oh, speaking of Nat, how about another mention of her when he said Black Widow got Ronin, which is correct, right? He was Ronin. He was out there doing bad stuff. He was out there killing the bad guys, and Black Widow saved him. Right? Black Widow brought him back from Ronin. So when he says Black Widow killed Ronin, I was there. It's not really wrong. It's true.
It's true.
So,
It's true. It's true. It's true.
I love
it's
it.
True.
All the trick arrows were super cool.
And they're the same ones that were in the comics. I was like looking through the comic.
Yeah.
It's the same little trick arrows. Like, well, mostly the same trick arrows. They didn't have all of them. They had a bunch more in the comic book. So when you read the story, there's like a bunch of them.
Oh, there's so many. And I kind of hope there'll be a whole ton more too.
Yeah, I hope so too.
And there's still 3 episodes.
Okay, so 3 episodes. I have a question about Mom. Oh, that does look like Moon Girl.
It does look like Moon Girl, right?
I had to stop and I like.
Yeah, you're like looking for it. Definitely could
like
be.
Moon Girl.
It does. And I get like it could be Riri, but I just don't think, think again, age-wise, it doesn't make sense. And she's debuting in Black Panther 2, they already said so. Unless they're liars, which it's Marvel, so they could be lying. But I don't think so.
Switch. So my question, I found out in the comic book, Kate's mom is not a good person. She's a bad guy. That's not a spoiler.
She's 100% going to be a bad guy in this.
Yeah.
I think.
That's why I was wondering, do you think she's gonna like I mean, because in the comics the swordsman is like somebody separate,
right?
But and so I can see how that's the guy that her mom is with, he has all the signs of it, but I was shocked to see her mom as an evil person. Like,
I just felt like always. I mean, here's the thing: you don't bring in Vera for nothing. You don't bring her in to be a mom, right? You just she's got to end up being someone, somewhere, something down the road.
Not looking like that. Good. No, not looking like that. No, she's not just a mom. She's not a housewife.
I think she could end up being Madame Mask. She could end up going. I mean, we'll see. But because a lot of times they take like, oh, this character's a really good villain. Let's throw them in here, make them this. And I'd be very interested to see. I almost wonder if she's the one who killed Armand there. I as much as I think they're making us think it's Jack, the fact that they're making us think it's Jack makes me think that's maybe not the case. I mean, she was fighting with Armand right before. She could have brought home butterscotches and put him out there, and Jack just happened to get the butterscotches. Or it's his uncle He might just have the butterscotch just from the last time he visited his uncle. It doesn't have to mean he killed him. There's swords all around the house.
Yeah.
It's
And
easy
there's
for him
that
to
whole
take 'em, you know?
yeah, swords all over the house, and the butterscotch could have been from his uncle. And the fact that his mom, that Kate's mom was having this conversation with our mom that she did not want her daughter to know about. She didn't want her daughter to know she was talking to the dude. She lied to him. She lied about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I think, and they're really trying to be like, it's Jack, you know? Now, I do still think he's a bad guy. I think he's definitely going to end up becoming the swordsman. That's going to happen. If he's not already a bad guy. But I don't think he's the one who killed his uncle. You know what I mean?
No. I think he's already the swordsman. We just haven't seen the full him. Otherwise, why would you be at a bad guy auction? You know, that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it a bad guy auction. Because there's no good guy has any business being down there where the stuff was being auctioned off. Why would you be at a bad guy auction if you weren't already a bad guy? I mean, I'm just saying. And
fair point.
Kate's mom already knew about it. She knew what was happening because the way she was deflecting, you knew she knew about it. So, you know, that point number 553 that she's a villain, going to be a villain.
Maybe she's definitely going to be a villain. And even during the press conference, did you see when they asked her about like, oh, your character gets a little dark in the comics? She's like, oh, does she?
Yeah.
I don't know. Come on, you're going to research your character. That was such a, like, Kevin Feige is sitting right next to me. This is my answer. You know, like, oh, I didn't even know.
Like, I can't say anything. The boss is too close. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So, I think
can't wait to see it.
The case with her. I can't wait either. And how much, like, the Tracksuit Mafia is just making me more and more happy with every episode. They're so funny. Like, bro. They're putting quarters in, making them ride on those little machines they were tied to.
And I think people should know the Tracksuit Mafia. I did not expect them to be as stupid and funny in the comics as they are in the show, but they are. Actually, they may be a little bit funnier. They're just a bunch of bumbling. Just they don't know what they're doing, and they're all over the place. And
they're perfect.
Yeah. They are. I'm like, so when I saw them, I'm like, the Tracksuit Mafia is real.
It's so funny. They're absolutely
something they made up. Yeah,
they're so dumb. And I love it. She's like, isn't that a little on the nose? Like, they're the Tracksuit Mafia, and they walk around wearing tracksuits. Like, yes, it is very on the nose.
It is.
Which I like that they make fun of, because some, you know, as well as I do in comics, every single comic, doesn't matter if it's Marvel, DC, Independent, it doesn't matter. They pick the dumbest names for people that are so like swordsman. He plays with swords. Let's call him swordsman. What? And so for them to like make fun of that and be like, yeah, they're the Tracksuit Mafia. Like, it was so perfect because I thought, so much dumb stuff.
Yeah, and I thought, so I thought that was like just a Kate and Clint type of name that they came up with. That the two of them came up with for those guys. It's like, no. That's what they are. That's what they call themselves. That's their own name that they picked that name for themselves. And they're kind of proud of it.
They're very proud of it. Bro.
Yeah.
The bro thing kills me. I gotta find there's gotta be a good picture in here of the Tracksuit Mafia, but oh my gosh.
They are. They're amazing.
They're so great. They're just, you're right. They're just idiots. They don't know what they're doing.
Not at all. Not even close. And they don't care. I mean, because it'll happen or it won't, you know, they'll get the job done or they won't. And it's just, there'll be another job after that, you know, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, look at this in the comics right here. And by the way, this is right around the car chase. It's Clint walking out and it's them walking out of the store looking for something to take. And he says, 1970 Dodge Challenger. Man, I always wanted one of these. And then, so it's exactly the same as we saw the Challenger in the show. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. But I know there's got to be a picture of and then here's the swordsman right here.
Yeah.
So.
The mannerisms are like the guy in the swordsman. The mannerisms of the swordsman are kind of like the guy in Kate's stepdad. Why did I even remember that? that part. But I love the part in the comics about how Clint's like, dude, you're not French. Stop with the accent. Because the swordsman in the comics has his whole accent.
Yeah, and it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So you guys have to get this comic. You have to read the comic because it's amazing. It's extraordinary. It's funny. It's hilarious. That whole, I'm gonna fangirl over Hawkeye and Hawkeye does not want me there thing. That's a thing. That's an actual thing. And it's all throughout this comic, and it makes it so good, I think.
It's so good. And so that's why, I'm like, Wilson Fisk is tied into this. We have some of the X-Men kind of tied into it, although I don't imagine that'll ever happen. So here you can kind of see their tracksuits are like, they're like a brownish red, very similar to what we see. And they're just idiots and they get absolutely destroyed.
And every other word is bro. Yeah.
Bro.
You see mine? The top up there. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Every other word is bro.
Bro. I love it. I think it's perfect. Oh, Leo asked, okay, so this is the Hawkeye. So I have the Matt Fraction run. However, I didn't want to pull out all the comics. I looked at, it was like, what did I say? 23 issues or something crazy. Mm-hmm. So I paid $45 like a crazy person for this. But man, it's so much nicer to have it. So it's called Hawkeye, the Saga of Barton and Bishop. And so it collects Hawkeye from 2012, numbers 1 through 22, and annual number 1. Also, Young Avengers Presents number 6. So it's all, and it talks about Pizza Dog and Katie and the tracksuit and everybody. So it's a great, it's basically, it's what this is based off of, right?
Yeah.
So
the digital version has a different title. It's My Life as a Weapon. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
But it's the same cover.
It's right.
The title is My Life as a Weapon. But it's the same. It's the same.
It's the same, right. Yours is online. Yeah. And yours is the digital. Yeah. So this one is now the Saga of Barton and Bishop. I think this is like the new one they put out when this was coming out, probably. So they renamed it a little, which they tend to do. When they know stuff's coming out, they just are like, here, let's give you all this so we can make more money.
Yeah.
They do it for every Marvel show. It's very smart.
This really did, because I was looking at trying to look for the price of the hard copy, and it really did like set me off and put me like off guard to find that the title had changed. And I'm like, is it the same book?
Well, I wonder if it's because they threw in the Young Avengers, so they like changed the name because now it collects the Young Avengers also. Who knows? But look, see, West Coast Avenger. I'm so excited. I hope we get West Coast Avengers eventually. Quentin Quire would be amazing. She's on a team with Quentin Quire, who's just.
We kind of have to, because Kate goes over there, right?
I would love that. That could be its own show. It probably would be a show. It could be a movie. I mean, I don't care. It would be so good. But we have to get West Coast at some point because she runs the West Coast Avengers basically. And Clint helps, but she's basically runs the West Coast Avengers. And she's the number one that you had that I picked up. Was it last week that came out with Hawkeye?
Yep.
The Hawkeye Kate Bishop. I read that one, and she talks about leaving the West Coast Avengers and heading back to New York, but she has to make a stop along the way. And that's obviously this whole thing that I don't want to spoil it for people that are going to pick it up. But it was very good. I was really impressed with it. And I was instantly into the story. And it's just Kate. I love Kate. Like the very first beginning, she's trying to sneak up on someone and her phone buzzes and she pulls it out and she's like, pro tip number 1, like superhero tip number 1, make sure your phone's on silent if you're trying to sneak up on a villain. And it's like, oh, Kate, like she's so great. She's so I just love her so much. She talks about Clint and America Chavez, who's like one of her friends, and she talks about all these people, which I know we're getting America. So I'm like, it's just, I'm just so excited. Cassie Lang, she talks about Cassie Lang. So it's like all these people that are going to become Young Avengers / she even said, if I go back to New York, it's going to be like a Young Avengers reunion or something like that. She worded it. So it's like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, okay. So is that like second season or no?
I don't know. It could be. I mean, this is all in the comics. So they try to tie stuff in, but then you never know too. I think they're just trying to throw names out there like, hey, we're getting these people. But this is going to end up being Young Avengers. It's going to end up happening. It's going to be a movie. I'm sure of it. I can't imagine they're going to throw this in as just a series. Young Avengers will end up being a thing. And it's going to be Cassie Lang. It's going to be America Chavez. It's going to be Kate Bishop. It's going to be the kid from Iron Man 3, probably. It's going to be Riri Williams. Like, it's going to be all these people. And I know I'm probably missing one or two, but I'm just, the boys, Wiccan and Speed, right? From WandaVision. Maybe even let's have Kid Loki back. Why not? He comes into some stuff. I mean, then there's Champions. I mean, Iron Patriot we saw in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, there's just so much. Oh, there's so much where this could go. And it's just so exciting. It's so exciting because it feels like we got our whole saga of the people we know and love. And now there's people that real comic book fans know and love that are starting to come through the cracks, And I love it.
I love that. Like a deeper dive.
Yes. And it's going to end up being like, Young Avengers is going to be so freaking good. And it's coming. They even kind of mentioned it at the press junket, remember? And she's like, am I allowed to talk about it, Kevin?
Oh, like, yeah. That's like our cue. There's our cue right there. Yeah.
But then he was like, yeah, what? What do you want to say about it? And she's like, you can tell she's like, I don't know. What do I have to say? I think you're right. Yes. I bet you're right. Because that they're making this group of dark Avengers, and they might not call it that, but I hope they do, because I want Dark Reign. And then what is this? You think Jack and Clint? I think like what's gonna happen like after that. And so we get the cliffhanger where Jack is like got the sword to Clint's throat. I think Kate's gonna walk in and save the day. Like she's gonna walk in and be like, Jack, we were just here to pick up yada yada, or to see this or see that. I don't think there'll be like an all-out brawl between Jack and Clint yet. I think because I really don't think Jack is the killer. I think he's a bad guy, but I don't think he's the killer.
But if it's like the comics, he and Clint have a history.
I know, but I
remember when the swordsman comes in.
But she said his name, hasn't she? Hasn't she told, or she just called him Jack?
I think she may have just called him Jack. I don't think she said his name fully, but I know in the comics, I think the swordsman trains Clint or trains with him.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying. Well, would he know his name? Did he know his name was Jack, or did he just call him Swordsman?
I don't think he knew his name was Jack, and maybe Jack is not his real name.
Well, his name is Jack. Maybe you know what he might. I guess maybe she hasn't fully said his full. I feel like she's said his full name to Clint, but maybe Clint doesn't know his name, right? Maybe he just knew him as.
I don't think Clint knows his full name, because in the comics he didn't really know who he was. Until he saw him, and he's like, they're having these back and forth, these little, side snide remarks.
The whole French thing, really like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
With your accent, you dummy.
Name is Jacques.
Jacques. Yeah, you know what? That is
Jack.
You're right. So if she's just saying Jack, but it is like Jacques, right? But that could be how I get what you're saying. It would be interesting for them to recognize each other. For some reason, I'm thinking, hasn't Clint seen him already? But I don't think he has. I think he's just heard her say Jack, or my mom's fiance. Like they haven't dived into it, right?
So I'm thinking back to, he was never at the dinner party. He was never at the dinner party. He didn't see anybody at the auction. No, They haven't crossed paths at all.
Then anything that was on TV, he wasn't really watching. He only watched like the blow up, like the people were outside, and then he saw Ronan on TV. He didn't see...
And then he was done.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. See that didn't even cross my mind, because I'm thinking he's already heard this and maybe they won't have them tie, but it's true. Oh man. Okay. What does Leo say? What would be awesome is along the lines of what you're saying. If you recognize Jack by swordplay. Yes. I mean, yes. Oh my gosh. It's just so exciting, the possibilities that are here. And how about her literally calling Lucky Pizza Dog today in this episode when she's like, we need to give you a name. How about this? Sir Dog of Pizza. And then she's like, Pizza Dog. And I was like, yes, Pizza Dog. I love it.
Okay, so I love that they're bringing Pizza Dog in without the introduction they had in the comics, because the comics introduction was so sad.
It's so awful.
It was so awful. And I was so mad that was how we got to. I'm like, okay, surely there's another comic introducing this dog. And then I'm researching. Nope, this is how the dog is brought in. Pizza Dog is brought in. And I'm like, but he almost dies.
When I first found out that the Pizza Dog was going to be in this, I thought there's no way they're going that far. And I'm glad they didn't, because.
I'm glad they didn't. Yeah.
They did kind of have the one mafia guy like kick him a little, but that was as far as they went with the abuse and which was nice because it was it would have been too much. I think too much.
It would have been way too much.
I don't think they would have been willing to do that.
No, I think I would have turned it off because it's like they almost killed the pizza. They almost kill him.
Yeah, I know it's like towards the beginning, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go.
Right,
look.
like right in the beginning.
Look at Pizza Dog.
Yeah. Yeah. And they almost they kicked the crap out of Clint too as well. You know.
What's that?
They kicked the crap out of Clint too as well, but you know, Clint
he's resilient.
He's like more worried about the dog than he is himself. So
yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm just glad we have Pizza Dog. And I'm glad we didn't see animal abuse. Really.
Yes.
It was smart.
Yes. So what do you think is going to happen next week? Who do you think is going to come in?
So next week, I feel like we've got to get Yelena next week because I don't think she'll be in the finale. They're going to I hope they don't put her in the finale because I want them to focus on Clint and Kate, right? And Clint getting home and all that.
The finale has to be the race home. So nothing else.
So I feel like, and I said this before, I really feel like she's going to show up at the end of one episode and then we're going to focus on her for the first half of the next episode and then she'll go away. That's how I feel. Because I don't think she steals scenes, people. They know this. And she also was filming so much
Florence
stuff like
Pugh.
That time.
Yeah.
She's amazing. And they don't want to make this about her.
Stealer, yes.
Yes.
In a good way.
In a good way. I mean, look, Black Widow was like, everyone was like, oh my God, Yelena is amazing. But Black Widow was cool too, I guess. Like, it's like, yes. And it was Black Widow's movie.
I know.
So I feel like we've got to get her at the end of this next episode and then a little bit in episode 5 and then she's gone. Or is she just going to be some kind of crazy end credit at the end of episode 6? But I don't think
that. No, I hope they can't do that. They can't do that. They can't make her an end credit. No. Because Florence Pugh is such a huge presence. You have to give her space.
I think she'll have like a solid 30 minutes, but it'll be split between 2 episodes.
Yeah, I want to see her in
you're frozen.
Haley.
What'd you say?
I am. I said I want to see Florence Pugh and Haley Stanfield on go head to head.
Oh yeah.
In a scene.
That would be amazing.
The two of them, as Kate and Yelena, I think, that's what I want. The two of them, give me a solid 30 minutes of those two together. Yeah. And that's all I want. And then you can do whatever you want to for the rest of
right. Well, see, that's why I think they'll be split between 2 episodes. She'll be split between 2 episodes, so it'll make sense. Or she'll just be in like half an episode because I can't imagine they spend a ton of time with it. We've still got all this other stuff going on, and we have 3 episodes left. And I really hope they don't drop the ball in the finale, like they've continuously been doing with these Marvel shows. And I just hope this is the first one that wasn't like affected by COVID rewrites and all that stuff. So hopefully they give us what they want. And then I'm thinking Kingpin, when's he going to come in? Is it going to be, are we going to like see his face next episode? He might be an end credit, to be perfectly honest with you. We might get a couple more hints towards him and then he's an end credit and that ties into the Echo show.
Yeah, I'm seriously, the next time Vincent goes online and just starts doing this thing, you're going to be like, okay, put your money where your mouth is. Come on the Longbox, talk about it.
I know. Because I'm trying to think if he'll be, because we saw that little thing. I could definitely see that we don't see him again till the end credit after episode 6. And it's the tie-in for the Echo show because we know the Echo show is coming next year. Mm-hmm. I think next year. It might even be 2023. I think it's next year though. And that would make sense, right? For him to be.
Yeah, because in the Echo show, I can see us getting the Defenders as well. I think, he would definitely have a major presence in the Echo show. But
he's got to.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even say when it comes out, so it's probably 2023 or end of 2022 would be my guess. But yeah, I would expect, as badly as I want to see him, I'm trying to tell myself I don't expect it until an end credit. That was the little hint they gave us. Maybe because they did say, well, they say that there's someone above her and they know they need to track that person down. So maybe we will get a little bit of him, but I feel like it
has to be him. No one else can really handle her at all.
Oh, I know it's going to be him, but
and she's not going to be answering to anybody else either.
I know. So maybe he does have to be in this show as like it's not going to be long though. It's going to be a cameo. No, it's going to be 10 minutes tops. I don't care. Again, I know. Well, I got goosebumps thinking about it. Can you imagine just like they see him, he like turns like he's looking out a window and he like turns as they, ooh, that would be so good. I love him and his presence. He's like the perfect kingpin. So I'm intrigued, how they will bring him in. Like, I feel like this wasn't the only little bit that we're getting of him. But again, we only have 3 episodes left. That's what concerns me. We have 3 episodes left. We have yet to see Elena. What's going to happen with that? Hawkeye's going to miss Clint's going to miss the ugly sweater party. He's going to barely make it home. I mean,
he's not going to be cooking the cookies. He's not going to make the gingerbread house.
He didn't do the movie marathon.
He didn't do the movie marathon. He's not going to be helping with stocking stuffers or anything. I don't even think he's going to be there the night before, like Christmas Eve. I think
he'll be there like on Christmas
morning, like sailing in that morning.
Yeah. Is he going to show up with Kate and Lucky? Or will it just be him?
No, I think it's going to be him. I say it's going to be just him, just rolling in there, maybe even just crashing through the window and like skidding to stop right next to the Christmas tree. And the kids get up. It's like, oh, Dad's home for Christmas. Santa brought him. Yeah.
I mean, you could be right. I don't know. I'm just excited for it.
He's just over the top. I mean, I just see something happening just like that. So
I just thought this episode to me is like proving that this show is just, I love how ground level it is and how good it is. Like I was thoroughly entertained from beginning to end. There wasn't a moment where I was like, oh, I'm a little bored. Like I said, I was crying. I think about it and I get teary. That phone call. There's so much that I love seeing this side of Clint. And I love getting Kate. And of course I love Lucky.
Have the whole picture. This is like the perfect episode to bring the whole picture together. Yes. So next episode has to destroy it. So yeah, Yelena has to be coming next.
I think so. I really do.
Yelena or Fisk, one or the other. They have to have something something has to drop a bomb in the middle of this perfect picture that we have right now.
Right. I mean, you figure we're halfway through. So it's got to be something.
I don't have a bow and arrow.
I do.
Kids.
I actually do.
I do archery in the house. I can't.
So often. I am not as good as Clint and Kate, but ever since moving into the city where I live now, I can't do it as much. When I lived on a bunch of acres, I had a couple of targets, and I was not great. But
oh my gosh, see,
I like it. It's fun. Probably partly why I relate to Hawkeye so much, and I love him so much. But I haven't shot an arrow in probably 3 years, so wouldn't be very good. And it hurts. I got to get my fingers calloused again. Is the problem? They get all calloused up from anyway. It's fun.
Oh, just like playing a guitar.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I play guitar, so
no, I am lucky to make the target anywhere on it, let alone a bullseye. But it's fun. It's just something I don't know. I don't remember why. I don't remember how it started, but I do have a bow and arrow. I have an arrow and a quiver and some bows in my closet.
I'm thinking we have to figure out some way to get you to show us.
I don't know, because there's nowhere around here. Like, we're so close in houses that I'd have to like travel somewhere to shoot arrows, because I think it's illegal or something.
We have to figure it out. Did you say it has a name? Your bow has a name?
No, it doesn't have a name.
Oh, okay. We can name it if you wanted us to. But no, I don't have a bow and arrow. I have kids who are very, very huge imaginations. And they really, really, really do not need any weaponry at all. We gave my kids a slingshot one time, and that was No.
So
We still are replacing windows that are cracked and everything else.
really?
So yeah.
Wow. Okay. No bow and arrow for your children. My kids, I don't even know I have a bow and arrow. Have a bow.
See, that's the only way I could have one.
There's a picture on my website if you go to mamasgeeky.com and you search I guess you would search bullseye. There was like a DIY bullseye thing I did, and there's a picture of me shooting there. So, or Target. So I guess if you search Hawkeye, because I think I added I think I branded it for Hawkeye. You might be able to find it way back when. So if you care, it's there. At Mama's
if
Geeky.
you care, it's there. I love that slogan right there.
So before we wrap up, we got like 8 minutes left. So you're saying you think something big's gonna happen next week, right?
Something big. It has to, because we have this perfect photo, this perfect picture. Something big has to happen. Something has to be thrown smack in the middle between them. It's gonna be, I mean, either Yelena shows up and she's all like, screaming at him and yelling, "You killed my sister," and Kate Bishop's like, "Hold on a minute,"
Yeah.
or we have to get Fisk in, who just kind of blows everybody's mind.
I think it's gonna be one or the other. It has to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's gonna happen? I mean, is Jack and Clint, like Leo was asking, right? Are they gonna recognize each other? What's gonna happen with the two of them? So. Is Kate gonna step in? Something's gonna happen there.
Mm-hmm.
And that might even be Clint being like, I don't think it was him. Like, I kind of know him. I don't think
he's an awful guy, but he wouldn't do this. Yeah.
Right. Because I do think it's going to be the mom, and I'm wondering when we're going to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like the murder mystery's got to be solved this season.
It has to. And we have to get so next episode is episode 4, right?
4, yep.
Okay, so we have to get our big plot twist, like either at the end of 4 or sometime in 5. So at some point, Clint has to say, "Oh, I don't think it could be him," or something like that. Maybe not in the next episode, but the episode after.
Yep, it's gonna happen, and we're gonna get Yelena soon.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get more Echo. Oh, Echo is so good. She's so good in this.
So good. Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be crazy.
They made her deaf. I'm glad they made her a POC. I'm really, really, I'm glad that she, I'm really, really glad that they made her the way they did. So, can't wait for her show.
I know. I'm excited. I'm really excited. So someone says murder solved in episode 5, maybe. I think it will be beginning of 6, probably, and then it'll be the rush for Clint to get home.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe not. I can't imagine it'll be in 5. Just only because we would only have one. We only have one before then, unless all 6 is them hunting down this person. But I think it's going to be the mom.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be Eleanor. I really do.
And then he has to console Kate. Oh, he may bring Kate and Pizza Dog to Christmas because Kate finds out her mom's a murderer. Okay, so that's
right. So where's she gonna go for Christmas? Come to my house.
Your mommy's a murderer and your stepdaddy's an a-hole.
Right. Also probably a killer, but just not of his uncle.
Right? Yeah, he just didn't kill this guy. He killed somebody else, but not this guy. Yeah.
Right. I think Yelena at the end of 4 as well. I think very end of 4, and then majority of 5, and then they get towards figuring out. I think it is Madame Mask. I do think she is Madame Mask. I would almost put money on it, especially because we're tying off of this, and she's in this.
She is.
I know there's going to be a picture somewhere.
I
swear I had marked pages, and then I just kept reading stuff, and then I lost all the pages. But I know she's in here.
Yeah. I made notes and then started reading and then stopped taking notes.
Yeah, because you just get so into it.
It's so good. It's good. We only have a few minutes left. Do you want me to go down the list of? There's a lot of number ones this week.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So let's wrap up Hawkeye. This is a fantastic show. Another fantastic episode. Looking forward to the next one. Only 3 episodes left. We're halfway through. This is crazy. So much was ripped from the comic books in this one, right down to that amazing car chase. I'm loving it. I think it's amazing. Parts of it made me cry. It's so good. And I'm so excited for more Fisk, which we know is coming, and Yelena eventually getting here.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week talking more Hawkeye, because that's what we do. With the next 3 weeks are going to be pretty much all Hawkeye. It's the Hawkeye show. Sorry, guys. Hope you love him as much as we do. And if not, get to know him pick this up. You will fall in love. I promise you.
Listen, even if you don't love the show, you will love the comic because it's so full. I mean, it's so full of just adventure, the comedy. There's this time element that's really weird in some of the issues where it starts off in the present, it goes back to the past, the flash is back, and it comes to the present, and then like the flashbacks are really weird in it, but it's kind of funny the way
they make sense. Kind of.
They make sense.
Yeah,
and they're easy to follow. But it's hilarious sometimes and kind of heartbreaking in the pizza in Lucky's thing. But yeah, you have to pick up the book. You have to pick up the book. Yeah. So
and we'll see you guys for more Hawkeye at 11 a.m. But 11 a.m. Eastern time next week. But before we get out of here, Joe's got some
stuff,
new comic book day information for us.
Yes. So today and yesterday, the big DC annuals dropped.
Oh,
y'all know about the big DC annuals, right? The big books with the short stories in them that everybody loves. And then these are the ones where you get these one-off drops of a character doing something that's like he would never do before, but it's so cool that they should make a whole comic out of it, and they don't. DC does it all the time. I hate that. So you've got a lot of them. You've got Nightwing, #1, that has Nightwing and Red Hood on the front of the comic.
That's cool.
So
I love Red Hood.
Hopefully our friends of the Longbox, Kieran and he's gonna kill
Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, hopefully they pick up a copy because they're on the cover. Both
right.
And then you get there's also my guys, Justice League Dark. The annual debuts Detective Comics, and Arkham Rises with Batman and Nightwing. Batman annual 2021. All these are annual 2021s of DC. They're dropping. Some of them dropped yesterday. They dropped today. Wonder Woman 2021. Get your copy today.
Because they'll be gone.
Have to go out there. Yeah, they will be. Actually, some of the ones that dropped yesterday, you may have a hard time finding them.
Right.
Joker 2021, Robin 2021, annual, and so on. There's like all of them. And the Justice League Dark one, I'm gonna get one of those today myself. Those are my guys. You love villains. I love heroes that are like have the villain capability.
Like
but they're
the gray
totally
area.
good.
I know what you mean.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, those are my guys. So yeah, all the drops are like are Justice League Incarnate, which it looks pretty good. There's a lot going on in it, but there's also a Marvel one that you need to get is the Death of Doctor Strange.
Ooh.
It has Spider-Man on the cover.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know much about it, but seeing it, I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued. So yeah, go get all of those. And then there's also the Gotham City Villains, the anniversary giant of the Gotham City. That's probably one you need to get, Tessa. Gotham City Villains.
Yeah, that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah. Oh, and White Fox, the Death of Doctor Strange White, that has two covers.
Oh.
If you go get it. It has a White Fox variant cover. Anyway, so yeah, go get your DC annuals. Pick those up. Hurry up because they're gonna go fast.
Yeah.
You get the Death of Doctor Strange. Look for both covers.
Yeah.
And yes, Constantine is the best. He's amazing.
I really should get into it. I really should. I feel like I would enjoy it.
You would definitely enjoy Hellblazer. Like I have the entire Hellblazer run in single issues. And I also have a couple of the trade paperbacks. So if you ever want to know anything about Hellblazer, let me know. That's Constantine for those of you who don't know.
Maybe after award season.
Yes. Don't.
Because we had our voting for Hollywood Critics Association. I'm also in another association that we have another 2 weeks. So there's other stuff I'm trying to catch up on, and my brain is slowly turning to mush. So after award season
right now. Yeah. 3 ballots right now.
It's crazy, but it's fun. It's the job we chose. It's the life we chose. So
love it.
There we are. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for joining us for the Hollywood Critics Association Longbox, where we connect your favorite shows and movies to the comic books. We are in Hawkeye mode. However, I am thinking by the end of the month there'll be a day where we do half Hawkeye, half No Way Home. It's going to happen because No Way Home is coming out at the end of the month. But we're basically the Hawkeye show for the next 3 weeks. And I'm Tessa Smith. You guys can find me everywhere at Mama's Geeky on all social media. Mama's Geeky here on YouTube. Again, I do watch the Hawkeye episode live with you guys at 9 a.m. Eastern time, and then break it all down in my head and come here and talk about it. So it's I got your Wednesday mornings covered, guys. I got you covered. Don't worry. Between there and here, and then I'm joined by my lovely co-host,
Jonita Davis. Jonita L. Davis everywhere. While she's with you guys, I'm usually sleeping because I'm up well into the night writing about all the films and things that pop up on the Black Cape, theblackcape.com. So come see my writing and the writing of the squad that I have working with me now. Also come stay on this channel because we've got What to Stream coming up. Yes. And then Hollywood Approved. So there's like a show every day on this channel. So
the best way to make sure you don't miss them is to subscribe, right?
Subscribe,
and hit the notification bell because it'll tell you when we're live like this, if it's a live show, or it'll tell you when the video is up. So you don't want to miss them.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week for Hawkeye.
Yes, at the Hawkeye show.
Hawkeye show. Bye.
Bye.